Welcome back to Blue Collar Speed and Repair. We got the engine fixed for the Vuck. Really excited to get this thing running again. I've been wanting to drive it. Obviously, it's been broke. Unfortunately for you, that means you get to watch me put together another engine. But at least it's not another small block Chevy that's broken. All right. The number 3 and number 5 cylinders in the last video were completely thrashed from water sitting in the cylinders. I'm guessing this thing had a head gasket issue or something and had water sitting in the cylinders, and we don't know how long it sat. Cylinders had a bunch of corrosion and huge lips in them. Anyway, took them to a machine shop and they were able to sleeve it for me, these 2 cylinders. And so basically what that means is they overbore the cylinders and then press in a sleeve and then rebore it to the size of piston that you're running. And I did learn when we took this apart, I don't know how well that shows up, but these pistons are already 30 over on a 455. I believe it makes it a 462 if I my maths correctly. So engine fresh from the machine shop. First thing I want to do, well, the first thing I did do, took the air hose and went through all of our bolt holes, all of our coolant passages, all of our oil passages, and blew everything out. Nothing came out, but just wanted to make sure there wasn't some metal shavings or anything hiding anywhere. Beyond that, before we put any pistons or anything in this thing, want to wipe out all these cylinders. Make sure there's no debris, no trash, no junk. This was just sitting in the middle of their shop when we picked it up. You can see that's just one cylinder. So get these cleaned up really good. They did put new cam bearings in for me. My brain's not working, sorry. They put new cam bearings in for me. They put new freeze plugs in it and baked and cleaned the block for us. We're nice and fresh, ready to go. Number 6 here had a little bit of corrosion here at the top. Unfortunately, they would have had to order another sleeve and it would have been another week out, but it's only the top little section here. I'm not too concerned with it. If we were building a high horsepower motor or whatever, obviously we would be replacing pistons and all that stuff and probably would have sleeved it, but not overly concerned with that. Grab me that clean rag and that oil. All right, cylinders are all clean. Just put a little oil on a rag. I'm going to oil these cylinders down. Just so we're not putting in pistons into a dry surface here. Apparently picking up just a little more trash. This is more procrastinating than anything. Just wiping off our surfaces here. I did blow out all this stuff as well. I think we start with camshaft. You have that assembly lube already?
Yep. I came prepared.
All right. We are reusing the camshaft. Doesn't seem to be any excessive wear or anything, but I am going to just lube the ever-loving crap out of this thing with assembly lube. All right. Now you want to be careful not to nick this stuff up, obviously.
Yeah, you bearing back from the machine shop. That's not still in.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me try and push up on the bottom.
Well, normally you'd put a bolt on the front,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I don't think you can get your hand in there. Yeah, there it goes. All right.
There's the oil passage on there. There you go. Got some brake clean on it already.
Now what?
And we gotta put all the rest of this stuff together.
Lunch break?
No.
Damn it. All right. Probably crank. All right. For rear main seal on a block this old, it uses a rope style, not a rubber seal. So basically, we're just going to kind of lay it in place here. We're going to use a socket. Start in the middle. And just kind of shove it into place. Make sure it's packed in there really good. Kind of weird that they use rope to seal stuff, but that's the way it was done. Sharp pair of dikes. Cut off your extra. Oh, don't do that. Sharp-ish pair of dikes. There we go. That could have been a little better, but that's all right. So yeah, it just kind of smashes down in there. So we're going to lay out the new main bearings. Put what's that stuff called? Assembly lube all over that. Get the crank cleaned up and get it sitting in here. Now the fun part. Ugh. Yep, that's heavy. Okay. Now the caps. All right, it did put just a little bit of silicone on the end of the seal across the back of the bearing there, or bearing cap rather. Just a little extra insurance. And I'm just going to dip the end of the threads in a little bit of oil. Just since everything's clean and dry. This is 3/4. All right, all torqued down. The crank is a little difficult to turn. because of this rope seal. If you loosen up this cap, it becomes a lot easier. I'm thinking that'll kind of free up and break in a little bit. You got to use kind of a bigger bar to get it to turn, but it does turn. I end up loosening up this cap a little bit, turning it, tightening it a little bit, turning the crank, tightening a little bit, and we can get it to turn okay. It's not free like I feel like it should be, but I've never really messed with these rope style seals before, and everything I've read online says, yeah, they just kind of free up a little bit over time. Anyway, we spent half a day or so cleaning parts and painting some stuff. I don't know, last week while we were waiting for the block. So I think we're ready to kind of slam stuff together. All the pistons cleaned up really good. We're going to put new rings on them, new bearings, of course, and get them shoved in. We're going to put pistons in an engine again. I didn't really intend for this to be a engine building channel, but here we are. You work with what you got. Let's get these rings on. Okay, as far as rings go, you have your oil control ring, which consists of this guy and two thinner rings, which one goes on either side of this guy. You need to be a little careful here putting these in because they can break. As far as piston rings go, there's a lot of school of thought on offsets and all that. So each of them have obviously an opening. It has to be, every 90 degrees or whatever is what people say. But I've taken many engines apart, and virtually every one I've taken apart has not been 90 degrees. In fact, several I've had like compression rings in line with each other. Point being, the rings will move on here. They will rotate. So don't concern yourself with it too much. I do generally just kind of not put them in line, but they don't have to be anything specific in my experience. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of engine builders that build race engines and all that are a lot smarter than me that are going to say I'm completely wrong, but I've also never had a problem with it. So this is the way I'm going to do it. So oil control rings, two compression rings. They were bagged up and marked number 1, number 2, and then number 3 is a set. I know you're not going to probably be able to see this, but it is marked top. And it's that simple. Again, I have them offset. The top rings here, the bottom second rings here. I have taken pistons out and had them in line like that. Again, these do kind of move around. They're not indexed, as in nothing holds them in a certain position, so they will move around. But putting together, I generally offset them somewhat anyway. I don't worry about specifically where they are. So got 2 done. We're going to knock these other ones out, and again, got new bearings for these as well, and get them installed. As far as putting pistons in, I like to put a little bit of oil on the skirts. Just a little bit. We did already oil the cylinders. And then we also need our assembly lube for our bearing. And this is the kind of ring compressor that I have. Seems to work pretty good. Now the notch on the piston goes forward. You want to be careful here. That you don't jam the rod studs into the crank. So she's going to kind of guide it there. And I'm going to do that. That's the downside about this. This is the release right here, and I keep hitting it. Just a little bit. Ring didn't quite go where it was supposed to. There we go. Now I personally like to turn it so the crank is up at the piston I'm putting in. Just less distance to travel. It seems to work a little easier for me anyway. And then we're gonna put the cap on just snug, and then just go down the line and get them all in. Okay, rod caps all torqued down to 42 foot-pounds. Get our timing set on. The other timing chain was pretty rough. Had a lot of slop, so we went ahead and got a new one. Oh, okay. Well, that was easy.
On way easier than
I'm going to align these dot to dot. Tell if that's strong. I guess it is all. Just kidding, it wasn't. All right. All right, so dot to dot is lined up. I turned the number one cylinder to the number one piston to top dead center. I did go slightly past, that's why they're off just a hair. All right, timing chain's all set, all on. This this pulley here, or ring here, is offset. This is what drives our fuel pump. Rod goes right through here. So I think we got just a little bit of cleaning up to do here maybe. And we can get the timing cover and the water pump on. if I remember how any of that stuff goes. I think that's backwards. That looks more good. Okay. As far as the timing cover goes, I am going to put a little bit of sealant around these coolant ports. They are a little rough. And I think we actually have the coolant leaks fixed on this thing, or we did. And I'd like it to stay that way. There, here goes nothing. Okay. I need that timing tab as well. That goes with that plate. Okay. Trying to remember how this stuff went exactly, because I don't. Timing tab, did put a new seal in. A little bit of silicone paste so it's not dry. Let's go ahead and get the water. Same thing, this is all a little bit rough. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of sealer around this whole surface. Probably should have got a new timing cover, but I didn't.
She's a little heavier than she looks.
Yeah, where do we suppose those bolts are?
Right here, man. Came equipped.
A little extra along there.
I don't know what gas I need.
Probably the one that fits. I know, I cracked myself up.
Go with that one.
We have a couple different options here.
3 of them. It's got the little cutout down here, and all the other ones do.
Sure. All right.
It was new, but I had all that rusty water flowing through it, and it was funky. Those top bolts just go through the plate right into the...
Yep. I don't remember. I have to consult my notes, i.e. the pictures I took. Make sure I put this stuff back. I'm pretty sure the stud went over here and was being used for the alternator. Let's say it's pretty obvious the long one goes over here. I'm pretty sure, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it goes on here. We use these nuts to take the stud out. Pretty sure it's just like that. Let me double check my notes, make sure the stud's in the right place, and tighten this thing down. Okay, timing cover, water pump, all that stuff's put back together. We did go ahead and get a new oil pump. Since we're here. Oh, yeah, I guess we need that, don't we? That'd help.
I feel like that's gonna make it work.
All right, next part of the puzzle. That doesn't fit there. Doesn't fit there. Does it fit on that side? I don't know.
You got mine and I got yours?
I guess.
Right. Mm-hmm. All mine's supposed to be. I guess that is right. This one has a little hole. Do you want this one first?
No, I want some silicone first. We're running out. We're going to have to get the caulking gun.
Mm.
Okay. Put a little bit of silicone where all the joints meet here. It's a little extra protection. This goes out. There we go. So where you want it?
I think so.
Ish.
That's where it's gonna live. Do we need to remeasure this? Make sure this is set right.
Hang on.
Made it!
All right. Probably a good idea. Double check our measurement here. Looking at 9.5-ish inches. I need it up here. 9.5-ish inches. I guess that's why it was bent down. All right, let's try that.
You want to show them the customization of the pan?
We did
On
before.
the outside, as much.
We did before, but whoever built this thing welded on fins and extended this down. What's that? 1 3/4, 2 inches, something like that. You can see all the welds inside. Extra capacity. What are we hitting? What are we hitting? There we go. All right. I like to work from the middle out. You don't have to crank real hard on these things. Just snug, it'll do it. And if you got your gasket oozing out the side, it's probably too tight. Okay, long block is all complete. Ready for the cylinder heads. Before I put the cylinder heads on, there's a little bit of work I want to do to these. We're here. Might as well do valve seals while we have everything apart. And I think I'm going to, because of all the corrosion and nastiness that was in this block, I think I'm going to do lap the valves, and I'll show you guys that. Pretty simple process. Is a little bit of labor involved, but not that hard. So I have this chintzy little spring compressor, and I need my socket wherever it went. And that's how it goes. Okay. So our keepers to the side here. Well, this one actually doesn't look very bad. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called a lapping compound. It's got a little bit of grit in it. And we're going to put it on this valve surface, and we're going to spin the valve against its seat. And what it's going to do is give us a nice even sealing surface on our valves. But first I'm going to take this over. It's not going to hurt it. Take it to the wire wheel, knock all this carbon off. And then I got to find a piece of hose, get my lapping compound, all that stuff out. I'm ill prepared. Give me a minute. So this is it's a Napa brand valve grinding compound. Just going to take a little screwdriver here. Put some on the surface, this is probably way too much, but that's fine too. We're going to put it in place. A chunk of 5/16 fuel hose on a drill bit. I'm going to push this on here. And then just spin the valve. Essentially what we're doing is smoothing the two surfaces together. See, our valve has a nice, clean, shiny line there now. Wipe this off. Get a light. Then our valve seat has that same shiny sealing surface. That's basically it. Kind of rudimentary tools. They make actual tools that like suction cup onto the back and all that. This seems to work faster and easier. So we're going to slam this back in. We got new valve seals, of course. Put the spring back on and then do it 15 more times. Which one? I don't either. These are slightly different. I think it's that one.
I just emptied the bags.
Where's our little cap that had oil in it? Right here. I'm going to dip the end of the valve in just a touch of oil here. There we go. And I'm going to wrestle this cheapy Amazon tool. Put this back together. All right, all the valve seals and lapping all the valves is done. A few of the valves do have some pitting in them. I'm not too concerned with it. It does have the valve faces and the valve seats are all good. No pitting or anything there. So get these bolted on. Attempt to, I guess. We did clean our surfaces. Where's it go? Right there. Back a bit.
So busy trying to squish my fingers.
There you go.
Oh.
Oh, got your shirt?
Trying to take my hoodie with it. Putting in the shop keys.
All right.
Sticker.
Free stickers, yay! If you remember when we took this thing apart, both center head bolts were snapped off, which is probably where our head gasket leak came from. We did get a set of ARP bolts. They're not too expensive. Looks like we got 4 short ones for the outsides, washers for everything. How do these go?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's probably instructions. Hey, look.
I don't do that. Can't see that.
Where's the glasses?
Tamper side of the washer bolt so it faces the bolt head. Okay. So block and bolts and everything are dry, so we are putting assembly lube on the threads. The ARP bolts come with. Pretty sure you're supposed to put it like under the washer and stuff too, but whatever. All right, according to the instructions for the head bolts, they're calling for 70 foot-pounds in 3 steps. Normally, like a big block Chevy or a small block Chevy would be 65. Also in 3 steps, I usually do 25, 45, 65. So in this case, I'm going to do 25, 45, 70, obviously, for a total torque of 70 foot-pounds. I'm going to do a crisscross pattern, I think, on this. So starting in the middle, work your way out. Once all those done at 25, knock this side out. Drop the socket on the ground. Okay. Apparently my extension don't hold sockets on. Go to 45, even though I can't read this because I don't have my glasses on. That's probably right. All right, again at 70. Ow. Now with our heads bolted on, we start assembling our valve train here. Starting with our lifters. And again, since everything's dry, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of assembly lube just because. Yes. Get in there. There we go. Be a little stubborn. Let me put a little shot of oil too. All right. Put a little dab of assembly lube in each of the lifters where the push rod rides. Oh, no, this is necessarily, well, I don't know if this is 100% necessary, is what I was trying to say, but it can't hurt. Didn't I do that one? We did clean all these and blow them out with air previously. Okay. So again, same thing, just a little dab of assembly lube on the end since everything's dry, fresh. Same with the tips of our valves. All right, and then we'll put our rocker assemblies on. Throw them on the ground. That's good for them. All right. Rocker arms are all torqued down. These don't use an adjustable valve lash like a small block Chevy or big block Chevy. You just torque the rocker arms down. Set all those 25 foot-pounds. I think we're ready for the intake, and that's where it gets a little sketchy, let's say. So we ordered a gasket kit. Did not come with new intake gaskets. This came with this steel shim style. That is your intake gasket. The kit we got, like I said, doesn't have any intake gaskets to use. So we're going to reuse this one.
I've never gotten a full kit that didn't have intake gaskets.
Yeah, well.
But this is our first automobile,
So on the instructions for the gasket set, it does say if you're using a steel shim style intake gasket, which is against what I normally do, but it does say put a little bit of silicone around all the intake ports as well. So we're going to do that. And we're going to gamble and hope for the best. Because nobody in town has an intake gasket. This is just Permatex Ultra Black. Just going for a thin layer here mostly. And by that I mean I'm putting way too much.
I guess it won't leak.
We're hoping it won't leak. All right. Even this all out, kind of, sort of, ish. I think we'll put a thin coat on the underside of the intake as well. All right, although it didn't come with intake gaskets, it did come with those like rubber China wall gasket things. I immediately threw those in the trash. We're going to use silicone instead. Just don't trust those stupid things. This is way too much. I'm going to keep going though. All right, now I'll try to. How's this going to go?
Like that, yes.
Now we got to get this to stay.
No, put your finger on the wall.
All right. Oh, that's a heavy intake.
You need to wipe that down.
I don't know. Thought we'd been there already.
We did, but it's been sitting in the shop for a week.
I'm trying to figure out a way to grab this without getting under here.
Yeah.
All right. That's not heavy or anything. Ugh. It's got to go that way. Something like that ish. All right. Silicone on inside and outside of the gasket, which goes against everything I'm used to, but we're going to run with it. All right. Looks like an engine again. We are going to slam the valve covers on real quick and tape a bunch of stuff off, paint this up, and I think that's going to be it for today. And yeah, we're doing Chevy Orange. It's a new day. Actually, a couple days now. Stupid day job gets in the way. Engine's all back together and painted. 2 light coats, 1 kind of a medium wet coat. Turned out pretty good. You know, it's difficult to get into some of these areas and get it good and clean without spending hours and hours with little brushes and whatnot. But for what it is, it's going to be fine. Still got some more work to do here. We got thermostat housing, manifolds, some bracketry, crank pulley, stuff like that before we can get it back in the beast here. Before we do that, I want to turn my attention to the doghouse or engine cover. With this thing running for a period of time, we did do the like Raptor liner or whatever on the outside. It previously had some kind of an insulation installed. I don't know, it's like some kind of weird like house insulation or something. Basically looks like a fire hazard. With this running, if you put your hand on the top of here anywhere, it's quite a bit of heat, as well as when you're driving, your leg and knee kind of sits right here and then the radiators across here. There's pretty good amount of heat you feel on your leg. So I want to clean all this stuff out. I did get some rubberized undercoating. It does say seals, protects, and insulates. So I'm hoping this stuff combined with the Raptor liner will help. Allow 15 to 20 minutes driving time between coats. Doesn't say anything about how long it actually takes to set up. Do not apply closer than 10 inches to the exhaust system. That's not going to happen. Anyway, we're going to try that, see how it works. I think I still have some of that rust converter stuff, so I'm going to try to figure out how to get this crap out of here. Quick wire wheel and spray it with rust converter. Let that set up at least for a few minutes. Spray some undercoating on it. I'm going to start with taking the top back off of the cover, or the top cover off. A little easier to maneuver, and it'll help make it easier to install as well. Not sure what the best course of action is here, besides just kind of pulling and scraping. I do want to wire wheel the metal once we get to that point, but I think all this crap's just going to load up a wire wheel. I don't know. Just going to have to kind of pull the loose stuff out and see where we end up. I don't know how this stuff hasn't caused a fire so far. And it's already in my lungs. I'm going to get a mask. This stuff's not coming out very easily. Now let's see what happens. It's going to make a mess. Wire wheel's actually working. Wire wheel's actually working pretty good. It's just making an absolute mess out of everything. So I'm just going to turn the camera off and we're just going to knock this out. Come back when we're cleaning it up. All right, got all this cleaned up. Wiped it down with some brake clean on a rag. I don't have any acetone, just use brake clean. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about rust treating it. This red flaky stuff that I thought was rust is actually whatever adhesive they used to glue that other insulation on. So now we're just going to try coating it with this stuff. I think it said 15 to 20 minutes between coats. Probably try a couple coats here. We'll see how it turns out. Oh goodness. First spray was a little wet. It's all a little wet. Making a mess. It's coming out the end. Everything's fine. Didn't quite go as expected. I'm not sure why it's so wet. I don't feel like it's supposed to be. But I guess we'll give that 15-20 minutes and do another coat. Meanwhile, I'm going to work on cleaning up this. Meanwhile, I'm going to work on cleaning up the inside of this piece. Got a couple coats on both of these. First can did not go so well. I think it dripped and leaked out the side more than it actually sprayed. Dripped everywhere. But we did get it all coated. So back to our engine here. We'll see about putting this thing together, getting it back in. So thermostat housing, I do want to put a little silicone around here. We have a new gasket, but it's a little bit pitted. This side as well. Got to find the thermostat. Don't know where it went. Our little cap here was split. Put one of those on already. Crank pulley, stuff. We got to do stuff. Let's do stuff. All right, the front end I'll put back together. I want to put these manifolds on. You can see where the orange paint is. You can see how pitted these surfaces are. So I got some ultra copper high temperature sealer here. I'll put a light coat around here, the manifold side as well. Just a little extra, again, same with our other silicones. Just a little extra protection. Are we recording sound? We are. Okay. Unless I'm blocking the camera, which doesn't help. Okay, gave the manifold the same treatment. Did hit these with some high temp black, like a matte black paint. Should not have put that bolt in yet. If you watch the video of taking this engine apart, center bolts broke off. I did drill and tap those off camera, as well as the we had a broken bell housing bolt. All right. Did have to use a little shorter bolt in the middle. It did bottom out. No big deal. So I think put the other side on. Go ahead and slam the spark plugs in right now since it'll be easier. And flex plate. I think we're ready to put this thing in. All right, got everything back together as much as we could. Tried to put as many parts on as we possibly could while I was out here. Trying to save the trouble of climbing in and out of that thing more than I have to, which means we're probably going to have to a bunch anyway. We get the chain on this thing, get the hoist on it. We got some stuff to move. Got to get this thing back racked up, get the front tire off, and get this thing in. Hopefully we can get it to run tonight. It's already kind of late in the day. I always get a late start. It just seems to be the way it is. Let's see how far we can get. All right, here goes nothing. Gotta get that in there. The trick is we have to turn the engine around backwards for the oil pan to clear the wheelhouse, and then spin it in the car or the van or truck or Vuck, whatever you want to call it. Get it turned around so we can get it lined up. So, you ready?
That's ready about that.
Okay. Okay, can you do that for a second? Stop it in the dash. We gotta get this side to go that way.
Try and pull the lift that way.
Yeah. Somehow. Just drop them out. We need that. Okay. Now it's gotta come in.
Okay, you got it so I can pull.
Can I stop? Because you're gonna have to rotate that way in order for this side. We're up against the lift arm. I think we might have to go up a hair. Because we've probably got a foot to come back. Good. Way more than good. Okay. Now you need to jack the transmission up. Okay. All right, now this end's got to come this way. You're too far in now. Okay, stop. Let's go down there, I guess. We still got to go back some. But let's see if we can get a little closer.
Ready?
Oh, sure. I think it's got to go back towards, oh, that figures. Got to go back towards you, but go ahead and go down first. See if we can get it close first. All right. Yeah, it's definitely going to go back towards you like 2 inches maybe.
Okay.
A little more. Okay.
Should I swap this battery out real quick or?
Sure.
Is there something in here?
That should be pretty close. We just got to come back to it now. I don't know what we're hitting on though. We're dang close. We gotta twist the air, yank, pull, do something. I don't know. Now go up just a little bit. Stop. Can you grab a swivel socket? Did something. This one here. Smash that one in there. How we look on that mount?
We're just above the hole.
Okay, good. This is not cooperating. There we go. Alright. So now I need to line up this mount. And that's going to get tricky. Because of the way these mounts are, the studs come out this way and that way on the other side. So we end up having to take the bolts out of the mount, or excuse me, the mount into the block instead of taking the mount out with the engine, if that makes sense. So now she's going to lower it down a little bit and see if I can get these to line up. Meanwhile, getting the stud to line up on the far side. So if you can come down slowly. Okay, I'm ready. Go. I don't really want my hand in there. We're kind of sitting on it. I might need a pry bar. If I try to pry that way. Ooh, what'd that do? Yeah, try that. Go down. That's working. Alright, so now we just got to figure out how far to go down so the bolts line up. Keep going. We got like a little bit. One more. Bell housing bolts, motor mount bolts, engine is installed. Break time. Alright, with the engine installed, now it's all your basic stuff. Got to get the hose on, the radiator in, throttle linkage, some wiring, torque converter bolts. We got to tighten put on the nuts on the studs on the motor mounts. Jesus. Getting late. Exhaust, stuff like that. So we're just going to start plugging away at it. And again, trying to get this thing to run tonight. It's already getting later in the day. I think we've got everything buttoned up in here that needs to be buttoned up. Ready to put this engine cover in. We did get some of this foam tape stuff. Went all the way around the edge. It did have foam tape across the front, but not all the way around. We decided to do it all the way around. Figured it can't hurt. So now we got to wrestle this thing in there.
How's it going?
Not really.
Oh.
Okay, now what? A little easier without the top on it.
Yeah.
This battery cover's in the way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Okay, let me set this side in,
Okay.
and let me come around that side. We need to come this way a hair so I can clear these spark plug wires. Oh, there was that stupid thing. Okay. I don't remember how we did this. Did we lift the back higher?
I think so.
Okay.
Easy as that. You guys are even lined up there.
No, I'm not.
So
What
these
I'm
ones up
on.
here.
Okay. What I'm on over here. This has to go like that. Alright. Remember, was there a nut or not? That's what it is. Alright. We're going to put in all the screws to go all the way around the bottom. Fish our wiring down to where it needs to go. And then we'll start hooking up everything underneath. Skipped ahead a little bit. Went ahead and got our wiring connections done to the starter and alternator. Not much to see there. When we took this thing apart, I did cut the oil cooler hoses that go to the filter housing. I don't have enough to actually replace it. I had forgotten to get some. I do have some cooler hose, so I think I'm just going to make a loop for now. Again, I don't plan on towing with this thing long distance, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. All right, simple little loop here for the oil cooler, at least for now, until I get some more hose. Up here, I just did a couple of simple vacuum caps. Like I said, I'll have to get some new hose to actually run the full length. I don't have enough. Probably go ahead and do these trans cooler lines as well when we get to that point. These guys up here, the two farthest to the left, are heater hoses. That heater core is leaking. And then the other two go to that aftermarket or dealer installed AC unit, which I don't plan on using. So those are just going to get abandoned. The heater hoses we'll figure out later when we decide what we're going to do about a heater, if we're going that route or not. So now we got a few things to take care of, and we can get this thing running. All right, new oil filter, of course. I did write the date and the mileage on the odometer. Good idea if your older vehicle like this doesn't have a trip meter. So you can kind of keep track, help you out. Try to do this without spilling it everywhere, which is rare for me. Good idea to go ahead and fill your oil filter. That way the oil pump doesn't start up dry. Oh, there it goes. Knew it was going to happen. All right. You also want to take some of this oil that you spilled, lube up your O-ring. All right. All right, try to get our exhaust bolted up here. We did replace this gasket previously. I went ahead, since we were all apart and starting fresh, did get another new one. The other side we did not replace because we had the wrong gasket. So we got another wrong gasket that's a little closer. It's just a little bit bigger. I think it's going to work fine. But that side wasn't leaking, I don't think. Let me get a tool. There we go. Excuse me. This side's a little harder to see. It's tucked up in those cooler hoses or cooler lines. Get this flange up in there. There we go. Ow, that's my finger. Okay, I think that started. Or it's crooked. Now what? There we go. All right, I think all that's left is some torque converter bolts. And we got to tighten the belt. Put some fluids in this thing. That light's right in my face. Boss isn't even out here. Light's already in my face. They're still in my face. I don't know. Let's try that. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. So I didn't tighten those bolts. You want to start all three of them. What'll happen is you'll turn the engine over by hand. Well, you'll tighten the bolts, and then when you go to turn the engine over to the third bolt, it won't quite line up. It'll be really difficult or impossible to start. So I'm going to turn this engine over by hand, start the third bolt, and get them all tightened down. I think we got to tighten an alternator belt and put some fluids, and be ready to start this. All right, some oil and some coolant. I think we can try to start this thing. I am using a Rotella T4. It's 1540. I do like the thicker oils and older engines. Being rebuilt, 1030 is probably fine. This stuff has zinc and all that stuff in it, and I don't have to add the additives and all that garbage. Just makes it a little simpler. And if you go to Walmart, or at least the Walmart's by me, it's like $16 for a gallon. So every time the boss lady goes to Walmart, I just have her pick up a couple. And it's a little cheaper, but even if you buy house brand oils, by the time you buy a good zinc additive and all that, it adds up. And this is easier. Pour it in and move on with your life. And the dually burns a lot of oil. I just keep one of these in the toolbox in the bed. That thing needs a bit of an overhaul as well. A little over 6 quarts. I think it was, we filled this thing up originally, I think it was right about 7. Can I reach? Oh. Yeah, need a little more. Ow. Seven it is. All right, as far as coolant goes, I'm going to try this a little bit differently. Previously, what we had to do was loosen the fitting for the gauge to bleed the air out properly. Has this hose, the smaller hose that comes off the upper radiator hose, ties into the top of the tank. I'm going to leave this disconnected, and I'm hoping that will allow the air to come out. We can go until something starts leaking, I guess. Probably all going to run out on the floor anyway. This is Traveler brand coolant from Tractor Supply. Again, no other reason than it's cheaper. As long as it does its job. I don't really care what brand it is. This cooling system is a little rusty. Arguably, we should have, since the engine was hot tanked and cleaned, we probably should have flushed the radiators out. But we didn't. I do hear air coming out of this. That's good. Okay. Okay, now we have coolant coming out of this. So in theory, this should be full. Okay, screwdriver, tighten that clamp. Probably need a zip tie or two over here. And then let's see if this thing will start. All right, wanted to make sure it was cranking before I fired up the camera. Battery's dead, of course, because all of my battery's always dead. Jump box is half dead, so we went ahead and got the boss lady's grocery getter for a little extra help. See if this thing will fire up. Oh. Here we go. Uh-oh. More timing? That's probably too much. Get aisle for me? Yeah, go ahead and disconnect everything. We're gonna let it sit and warm up, and get back with you in a minute. So ran into the same issue. Bleeding it via the hose here didn't seem to help. Coolant started rising. You can see obviously the steam coming out. I've got the temp sensor port loose. We try to bleed it this way. Don't have to go to the sauna this week. I've never been to a sauna. It's a van, a truck, and a choo-choo train. That's what I had to do every other time I filled the coolant.
Looks like a horror movie with the steam just settling.
Yeah. Although I was a little more prepared before. Once I kind of figured this out, I had coolant ready and a wrench ready. I wasn't ready this time. I thought we were going to be good with doing the hose this way, but apparently not. All right, I think we're all good now. If I loosen that port now, that coolant temp sensor, I get nothing but fluid. We're sitting right at 190 or so, which is pretty much where it ran before. It does have a 180-degree thermostat. Responding really well. Runs again. I'm extremely happy. Can't wait to take this thing for a drive, put some more miles on it. The actual trip I got to do before didn't end so well. Yeah. What about you? Ready to go drive it some more? Cool. All right. Running really good. Time will tell. We got to drive the course. And still some more stuff I want to do. Interior obviously needs some love. Exterior I like a lot. It, with the clear and the getting the lights working and all that stuff, turned out really good. I like the wheels. The wing needs some work still. Exhaust needs to be reworked. The driver's side muffler's rotted out. Still got an exhaust leak on this side. List goes on and on. This thing will be back. Other than that, time of recording this, we're a little over 500 subscribers. Thank you very, very much. A lot of it is partly this thing. First video on this has over 10,000 views now. Again, thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it tons. And other than that, oh, Jesse's here.
Whoa.
It Happy dear.
Got anything to add?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Got anything to add? Thanks for watching. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you guys next time.